the bustling midday rush of a small-town diner, where the sun streamed through grease-streaked windows, and the air hummed with the clatter of plates and the sizzle of grills. Sophia Harper stood frozen, her hands trembling as she stared at the crumpled bill on the table. The tip line read a stark $0, a cruel punctuation to another exhausting shift that barely covered her mounting bills. But as she lifted the plate to clear it away, something fluttered to the floor, a folded note that would unravel her world and rewrite her future in ways she could never have imagined. If you believe in the power of kindness and second chances, that like button. Drop a comment below, share this story with someone who needs a spark of hope, and subscribe to LifeSpark Stories for more tales that remind us of the good in humanity. Sophia had always been the kind of woman who wore her resilience like an invisible armor, forged in the fires of hardship that had defined her life since she was 22. Left alone with a newborn son after her husband walked out, claiming the weight of fatherhood was too much, she had traded her dreams of becoming a teacher for endless hours on her feet at the Sunnyside diner. Mornings blurred into afternoons under the harsh fluorescent lights, her sneakers worn thin from pacing between booths, serving coffee to truckers and smiles to families who tipped just enough to keep the lights on at home. Her son, little Theo, was her anchor and her ache, 7 years old now, with wide eyes that mirrored her own exhaustion when she came home late, his asthma flaring up from the damp apartment they could barely afford. Medical bills piled up like unwashed dishes, and Sophia often skipped meals to ensure Theo had enough, her body a vessel running on fumes and fierce love. Each day felt like a battle against an invisible tide, pulling her deeper into despair. She juggled shifts, pawned heirlooms, and whispered prayers in the quiet moments, wondering if the universe had forgotten her entirely. That particular Tuesday unfolded like any other under the clear blue sky, the lunch crowd swelling with office workers and locals seeking respite from the heat. Sophia moved with practiced grace, her apron stained with ketchup and coffee, her ponytail fraying as she balanced trays laden with burgers and fries. When the man in the crisp suit entered, he seemed out of place amid the vinyl booths and checkered tablecloths, a tall figure with silver, streaked hair and an air of quiet authority that made heads turn subtly. He chose a corner table by the window, where sunlight danced on the formica surface, a simple black coffee and a club sandwich, his voice low and measured. Sophia served him with her usual warmth, chatting lightly about the weather to mask her fatigue. Though her mind wandered to Theo's upcoming doctor's appointment, she couldn't afford. The man ate slowly, his eyes occasionally drifting to her as she bustled about, refilling waters and clearing plates. He paid with cash, leaving the bill folded neatly under his saucer, and slipped out without a word, vanishing into the afternoon glare like a ghost from another life. It was only when Sophia returned to bust the table that the $0 tip hit her like a gut punch, a silent judgment on her service, or perhaps just the whims of a wealthy stranger. Tears pricked her eyes as she stacked the dishes, the weight of another shortfall pressing down. As she lifted the plate, the note caught her attention, a crisp piece of paper, handwritten in elegant script. Sophia, I've watched from afar for too long. Please come to 457 Elm Street tomorrow at noon. Your life is about to change. Elias Thornton. Her heart stuttered. How did he know her name? The address was in the upscale part of town, home to corporate offices and luxury lofts. Confusion mingled with a flicker of hope, but doubt crept in. Who was this man? Could he possibly want from a struggling waitress? The next day, under the same bright sun that warmed the sidewalks, Sophia arrived at the towering glass building, her best dress feeling inadequate against the polished marble lobby. Elias Thornton awaited in a penthouse office, surrounded by views of the sprawling city below. No ordinary patron, a self-made billionaire in tech, his fortune built from nothing after years of hardship. As he rose to greet her, his eyes softened with a regret that spanned decades. He revealed the truth that shattered and mended her in the same breath. He was her biological father, the man who had abandoned her mother when Sophia was just a toddler, fleeing poverty to chase ambitions that eventually made him rich. Guilt had haunted him, and spotting her in the diner, recognizing the locket she wore, a family heirloom, had been fate's intervention. Under that plate, he hadn't left a tip. He'd left the key to redemption. Weeks that followed, everything transformed. Elias covered Theo's medical treatments, erasing the suffocating debts with a single gesture, offered Sophia a position in his foundation, training her to advocate for single parents like herself. No longer chained to the diner, she pursued her teaching certification, her days filled with purpose and the warmth of reconciliation. Theo's laughter echoed in their new home, a cozy house with a yard where sunlight filtered through leaves, symbolizing the dawn of their second chance. Elias, facing his own mortality from a quiet illness, found peace in mending the bridge he had burned, finally serving a greater good. Sophia's struggles had sculpted her into a beacon of strength, and in forgiving him, she discovered a wellspring of love she thought lost forever. Before we wrap this up, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below sharing a time when an act of kindness changed your life or someone else's. If this story of redemption and unexpected grace has touched your heart, please like, comment with your thoughts, share it far and wide, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories for more emotional journeys that inspire us to believe in the magic of human connection.